I have to tell you that I'm a naturally optimistic person. For me, the glass is always half full, and there's always a solution to a problem. Brexit was a no-brainer. We needed to be free and out of the stifling bureaucracy, the permanently immovable, left-leaning, self-appointing political cabal that was running it all. But I was aware that a dramatic change like Brexit was going to create upheaval and some uncertainty while it settled out. That's happening. What is also happening is a series of other events that are confusing the situation and adding to the uncertainty and the problems. First, we had the COVID pandemic and the huge debt that furloughing and the almost complete closure of the economy has created. Then there are some serious wage and salary adjustments taking place now that we've got out of the globalist European Union, who loved the fact that they could hire cheap labour from Eastern Europe in preference to their own people. One of the key reasons we have an HGV driver shortage at the moment, incidentally. Add to the fact that the rest of the world is tackling their own post-COVID economic problems in different ways. The US is instigating a huge spending program that appears to care little for the effect on its debt to GDP ratio and will, in my opinion, do little to lift the economy and more to destroy the value of the US dollar.
Loophole out of $1.6 trillion worth, $1.4 trillion worth, out of $1.4 trillion. It's hard to even say it so much. And by the way, it's cost a lot of money. It cost about $740 billion over 10 years.
But we'll see. Consider too that inflation has returned. The German Federal Statistics Office reported a rise of 4.1% in September.
Hello Hans, have you checked up on the inflation recently?
Oh no, it's out of control. Just like the fall of the wall.
You are joking, right?
The highest since 1993. The Eurozone has also reported a rise of 3.4%, the highest for 13 years. Not a surprise, really, after all the quantitative easing they've been doing. Quantitative easing they've been doing. Quantitative easing they've been doing. Printing money is usually a prelude to inflation. On the far side of this now integrated world, China is facing some serious problems as well. The Japanese Pension Investment Fund has stated it will not be investing in Chinese government bonds, even though they have a higher yield than US government bonds. They are regarded as a much higher risk. The Chinese economy has taken some serious hits in the last few months, with well over 1,000 foreign companies withdrawing operations from China. Samsung Heavy Industries, for example, pulled out with the loss of 35,000 jobs and many more in the supply chain. Unemployment is now a growing problem for the CCP, and the people are beginning to show signs of unrest. Other problems in China, such as Evergrande, the Chinese property giant, which failed to make a payment on its huge debt portfolio last Wednesday, a payment of $47.5 million on a debt pile of well over $300 billion. If Evergrande goes down, and it looks seriously likely to, the repercussions are huge, and not only in China, but across the financial world, and ultimately to you and I. Add to that, our own government has already shown that it intends to try and recover the situation, and in doing so, has raised taxation. That will hurt many, and may even lose the Conservative Party the next election. But to whom? Labour have shown themselves to be currently unable to organise the proverbial in a brewery. Nobody in that party shows an aptitude for anything other than virtue signalling. The Lib Dems? Who? They've all but disappeared. Reform. They're making the right noises, but they're too new and far too small to be considered a possibility. So where are we? Well, we're in a time of turmoil, and financial peace is unlikely to return for the best part of a decade. Then there's wars, and rumours of wars. But that's a whole other discussion in a whole other video. As the ancient Chinese curse says, may you live in interesting times, and it can hardly get more interesting. Or can it? Thank you for listening. If you find it possible, please subscribe. Thank you.